welcome back to my channel. I'm going to continue working with the Memory Lane collection and the scrapbooking workshop. For today's video, I'm working on layout 3, another double page 12 by 12 layout. And I've gone ahead and cut the larger pieces of paper and just laid it out to see how I like it. I'm going to show you the pictures I'd like to scrapbook. So these are some old photos that I found. They've already been printed and I never put them in an album. So I just wanted to go ahead and do that. They're these cute photos of my daughter when she was maybe 2 years old. And I thought they went really well with these papers. So I'm just going to kind of lay them out here and see how they look and see if I like the arrangement. One thing I remember from this time of my daughter's life was that she loved the color yellow, and so I'm not exactly liking this pinky background here. It's the pink and the melon, I think, are too close together, and I really want to bring in more yellow because she loved yellow so much. So I did go ahead and cut 2 squares of yellow from this beautiful paper, and I think I'm going to try swap these out. So let's see how that looks. Let me just move these aside. I'll take this away. And I like the contrast, even just the contrast of the yellow and the melon already. And yeah, I like that a lot better. I just feel like it makes the photos pop a little bit more. So let's go ahead and do that on this side too. And there we go. Yeah, so I'm going to swap out that yellow and kind of go from there. And I think that's going to work really nicely. All right, I'm going to work on this sped up so you can see my process. The Memory Lane collection is available until August 31st or while supplies last. I went ahead and purchased the Memory Lane product bundle. That comes with the paper packet, the coordinating cardstock, the sticker sheet, and the stamp set. But there are many different configurations. If you just want the paper packet, you can purchase it that way. You can purchase the paper packet with the sticker sheet. You can purchase the scrapbooking workshop with or without the stamp set, the card making workshop with or without the stamp set. So it's very customizable for what you would like. So I'm going ahead and I'm here adhering all my papers. I didn't realize it, but when I cut these papers down, my blade on my trimmer was old, and it started cutting the cardstock pretty roughly. So you're going to see that I notice it here, and I went ahead with a nail file because I didn't have my sandpaper handy, but I'm just getting rid of some of those little stray edges. And now the papers are down, and I'm just placing my photos down. I'm using the reverse side of my Versamat because it has a nice cushiony surface, which is really good for stamping on. And I'm using the stamp set from Memory Lane. I'm going to stamp a few houses and trees in sapphire ink. And here I'm coloring my stamped images with our Colorista colored pencils by Spectrum Noir. You'll find these in the new catalog starting on September 1st. And here I'm using an anti-static pouch on the sticky side of some of the stickers I think I'm going to use as embellishments. Removing that stickiness turns them into die cuts basically, so that I can move them around and try them out in different places. I decided to print my journaling on clear sticker paper because I wanted the beautiful pattern underneath to show through. Here's the layout in the workshop guide, and here is my final layout. Since this layout came together so quickly, I was inspired, so I went back one to layout 2 and decided to work on this layout that I had originally skipped. But I'm incorporating a lot more photos into this layout than what the guide has. After laying out my photos and looking at the colors, I decided to switch out the honey butter cardstock for the patterned yellow paper that's in this pack. I think it just goes better with these photos. And now I'm looking at the blooms, and the calla lily is really bright pink, so I figured that's going to be a good place to stack some photos on top of and use a 3x4 flip flap so I can incorporate even more photos into this layout. If you're not familiar with flip flaps, they're a little photo holder that you can add to your layouts, and they have an adhesive strip on top. Usually I add my flip flap to my page protector on the outside, of my page protector, but I'm going to try something here and just stick it to my layout and cut a slit in my page protector. I've seen other scrapbookers doing that, and I thought, okay, this is going to be a good time to experiment. And I also like to adhere my photos together so they don't slide around in my flip flap once I put them in there. Here I've adhered all my papers and photos down onto my layout, so I'm going to stick my flip flap onto there. I'm going to take the photos back out of the flip flap before sliding my page into my page protector, which I cut a slit into, and I'm feeding my flip flap through the slit. And then I'm going to put my photos back in and make sure that it goes up and down and it works. And I'm going to do the same over here. I'm just adhering my flip flap to my layout. I'm going to flip over my Versamat so I can stamp, and I'm stamping the dragonfly image from the stamp set in sapphire ink. Then I'm going to fussy cut it out and use colored pencils to color it in. And I'm adding some final touches. I popped up my dragonfly on some 3D foam tape, and I added coral reef sequins. Here's a layout in the workshop guide, and here's how I changed it. I also added a title. I used my Cricut to cut it out, and I used a font called Autumn in November from dafont.com. I wanted to share 2 more layouts I made with Memory Lane. For this double page layout, I used Make It From Your Heart Volume 3, and I used pattern number 14. I basically used the pattern as is. I added white daisy cardstock and then used more of my Memory Lane scraps just to stretch out this paper pack a little bit. It's just so beautiful. It's going to be hard when I don't have any more of it left, but I used the pattern as is, and I added some dragonfly stamps from a stamp set, which I'll list in the notes. It's still available. And the last layout I'd like to share with you is a single page layout, which looks nothing like the single page layout in the workshop guide that came with Memory Lane, but I just couldn't cut into this beautiful paper. I thought this graduated rainbow effect just looks so beautiful and would work well with a sunset photo. So I found one of my daughter and I when we went on a Girl Scout trip. And I also added some Cape Cod digital art and cut that out with my Cricut for some extra embellishment. It's simple, but I think it looks so beautiful. And here are all of the scrapbooking layouts I've made with the Memory Lane collection. This double page layout was from my previous video. And here are all the ones that are in this video. I've had a lot of fun working with this beautiful paper. And I just want to say thank you for joining me and watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you could like and subscribe, that'll really encourage me to make more videos. See you next time.